Hello and welcome back to Understanding Crypto. My name is Herve, and every other day here we cover cryptocurrency in the easiest way possible on the internet. We do things like predictive analysis, research and tutorials to help guide you through this vast world of coins and tokens so that you don't get lost. It's a pretty crazy market. So in this video we'll be talking a lot more about Bitcoin dominance and Ethereum BTC. And I'd actually like to start by asking, why do we cover Bitcoin dominance? Like, why is that important? Now, for so many people who follow the channel religiously, and for some who follow my platform, you'd know exactly why we cover Bitcoin dominance and, Ethereum BTC all the times. But for those who are new, you might wonder why we even talk about all this stuff. Well, it so happens that Bitcoin dominance represents how much capital is in BTC alone, like how much of all crypto money is in BTC alone. When that money goes up, or when Bitcoin dominance goes up, it means that most of the money, this is just a basic understanding of it here, it means that most of the money that could have been going to altcoins is going to Bitcoin. When that dominance is going down, it means that most of the money that could have been going to Bitcoin is going for altcoins. Now, that's the basic understanding of it. But the more complex way of seeing it is that all altcoins have their Bitcoin pairs, at least most of them. So Ethereum has its own Bitcoin pair, Solana has its own Bitcoin pair, Cardano has its own Bitcoin pair, Polkadot has its own Bitcoin pair, Chainlink, and so on and so forth. All of these Bitcoin pairs of altcoins is represented in a single chart, and that chart is the Bitcoin dominance chart. So if you have a situation where, maybe there is some type of war looming, people are scared and stuff, and some are thinking that the markets might dump, and we're talking about the stock markets here. If you hold crypto, there is a very high likelihood that you hold BTC. There is also a high likelihood that you hold Ethereum, possibly holding Solana, maybe XRP, and some other coins. The thing is that when you believe that the markets are going to dump, the markets are in some type of fear mode, you will start by selling the riskier investments first. So you'd start by selling perhaps Solana and maybe XRP or maybe Ethereum before you sell Bitcoin. So we have traders in the Bitcoin to Ethereum chart or Bitcoin to Ethereum pair. We also have traders who only trade Solana to BTC in the Solana to BTC pair. And we also have traders who are trading alts to BTC, generally speaking. So when they see that the markets might dump, they may start trading those altcoins for Bitcoin. This increases Bitcoin's dominance. So when you see this going up, what it actually means is that traders in the alt to BTC pairs are selling alts for BTC. This is now the Solana to Bitcoin chart, yeah? This going down means they are selling SOL for BTC, not SOL for USDT, yeah? Not SOL for USDT, SOL for BTC. So another example is Eth Btc, which is what we'll be talking a lot more about in this video. This big downtrend like so means that traders overall since 2022 right here have been selling ETH for BTC. So that's what this means. Now, because Ethereum has the most market share of all altcoins, its movements basically dictate how altcoins are going to move. So if you have an ETH pump, you are most likely going to see other altcoins going to the upside. If you have an overall downtrend in the ETH to BTC chart, you are most likely going to see altcoins bleed. So here, when we come back to the Bitcoin dominance chart, this big move to the upside, and this is also since 2022. If you are smart, then you'll start to see where I'm going with this. This big move here since 2022 means that we've not had the alt season yet. So what is alt season then? alt season is a period where altcoins are being favored in their alt to BTC pairs. So since we have already defined that this Bitcoin dominance chart is basically a compilation of all altcoins to their Bitcoin pairs in one chart, we can therefore say that alt season is only when this particular chart, this Bitcoin dominance, is in a downtrend. This is very important because I hear so many people on the internet saying we've had the alt season already. Some coins have already done a 50x. Some coins, yes, I know. I know very well. I also made more than a 50x already. Yeah. The problem is though that this has not dumped. It has not crashed. So if we are, talking in want to be realistic here, we will say with very high certainty that we've not had the alt season yet. I mean, it's really just objective. This is an example of an alt season. And even this accumulation right here on Bitcoin dominance is still alt season. So alt season is when altcoins are overperforming Bitcoin in their Bitcoin pairs. Even here is also alt season. Here, this is also alt season. This is Bitcoin season. This big move to the upside. The things that people say now, like alt season will never come. Yeah, that's exactly what everybody said in this big move right here, where it went here and was consolidating, came down here and went back to the upside. Everybody around here, around this move up right here, will tell you that this move down was the alt season, but it was not, objectively speaking. So it's the same thing that is happening around here. So we can all say now that the alt season has not happened. If we go to, as we were looking at before, let's take Cardano for example. So Eth Btc. We come now here to Eth Btc and we're looking at Cardano. We will also see that during this period here, Eth was overperforming Bitcoin. So its price in Bitcoin terms increased. This is not the dollar chart, yeah? This is not Eth Usdt. This is Eth Btc. Eth was overperforming Bitcoin right here. Now it's in a downtrend. When we look at Bitcoin dominance, we'd have zones, which is this zone right here, which we have had this zone for the past couple of months. Now, the idea behind this zone is similar to the idea here, and that's how we got this downfall right here. So this is just our maximum zone that we can see. We don't have any more targets to the upside. Some people say that it's going to go to 75, which is possible, but we don't have the data to prove it, yeah? But this is just the maximum zone we can see for Bitcoin dominance. However, there is a counter to this. By counter, I mean that this is just a representation of how much altcoins are overperforming or underperforming Bitcoin in their altcoin pairs, yeah? So what is the largest altcoin then? Can we look at another chart that has more data than this one? I am trying to guide you through my thought process here, like how do I come about with all this stuff. It's the same principle behind looking at Bitcoin, yeah? So you could be looking at BTC, USDT, and you'd think that BTC is at all-time highs. When BTC reached right here, some people were like, all right, BTC is at 110K. It's in price discovery. And they call it price discovery because there is no resistance up here. You have no other chart to, look this against, yeah? But here, you could have said, well, there is resistance here. Well, there is resistance here. And here you have no other chart to look for any type of resistance. But we do now, don't we? Yeah, because BTC is trading against USDT. So we can then go to USDT dominance to see what's happening there. Well. It so happens that you do have resistance on BTC because you have support on USDT dominance. Let's go back to, I hope you understand what I'm saying. If you don't understand, let me know in the comments. Let's go to that BTC dominance thing so that we continue. So here, we therefore have to look for some other chart that, basically represents the same thing and has more information. Yeah? And that chart has to be the largest of those altcoins that this represents. So what's the largest altcoin? It's Ethereum. We therefore, since this represents all altcoins in their Bitcoin pairs, so all altcoins versus Bitcoin, we look for the largest of those altcoins versus Bitcoin. So we go to the Ethereum BTC chart. So when we now go to Eth Btc, we have to see something that looks opposite to this. Yeah. So here we see a consolidation. We see a consolidation right here and a big move to the upside. Yeah. Big move to the upside. Let's now go to Eth Btc. We should see something similar, but just opposite. Well, that's it. We also see here a consolidation and a big move to the downside. Just that this one has more data, so we use this one. I hope we all follow, yeah? So where then is ETH going to go? If we have reasons to believe that ETH on its BTC pair is going to go to the upside, therefore altcoins are going to overperform BTC generally. Yeah. So most of the Bitcoin dominance chart is actually taken from this, which is why we look at this, since the Bitcoin dominance chart does not have much data. So what's going on here? Here, let's go to the daily time frame so that we can look at the micro right here, like what's actually happening here. But what's important to know here is that this big move right here, I hope you can see it. This big move right here from the bottom right here to the top is 48.28%. That's the largest move since 2022. That's September of 2022. That's the largest move. The largest move since here. So that's why this is important, is because I intend to use this as my first wave up, which means I'm going to assume that it should have bottomed right here. And the reason why I'm using that is because I see this to have been the support where this thing bounced off of. So if this is the first wave, therefore we should be expecting some sort of retracement for the third wave up. The retracement would be the second wave. So let's go to the daily time frame. And you see it clearly. All right, so here on the daily time frame, what's happening is that Ethereum had resistance at the 1.618. 1.618 is actually the weekly 1.618, which is taken from the entire dump to the downside. So it attempted to use this 1.618 as the new support, but it did not, and it came right back down. On the ETH Usdt chart, you will see something similar, but just with the 0.5 Fibonacci level. So this was actually my confluence for that 0.5 Fibonacci level being a problem. And here, since it's not succeeded using this 1.618 as the new support, it's now back on its way down. The lowest I can see it go now is somewhere around 0.01929. That's the lowest I can see it go on its way to the downside. Of course, it's not to say that it must go down there. It's just the lowest I can see. And even here, this particular bounce right here, this will be the 1.618 or the 0.5 Fibonacci level. So if we just quickly do this like so and put this like so, 0.5 will be coming in here. So 0.5 is where we closed this candle right here, marking this as some sort of support, but I think there's a good chance that it breaks and comes right back down to somewhere around here. This would be actually the opportunity on this micro time frame to go long on the Eth Btc. Now, some people do actually trade Eth Btc, not Eth USDT futures. Yeah, that's where you see Coin M futures. You can actually trade that, and you will make more ETH if your trade goes in the direction that you want. So yeah, that is basically my own idea here. After the move to the upside, which is what I will hope that happens, even if it happens from this particular point, so that's why I have dotted lines here. It's to say that I'm not super certain, but this would be the ideal type of move. So after we move back to the upside and successfully close a weekly candle above this zone, so this is the daily. If we go back to the weekly right here, you will see that the zone we're talking about is the 0.786 Fibonacci. So after we go back to the upside and successfully close a full body candle, yeah, not just like a quarter of it, we're talking more than half of it to the upside, then the next zone we will be targeting for this thing will be somewhere around 0.03. That would be the zone that we would target for Eth Btc, which is why I now have this line right here, the arrow, showing you that if we have the weekly candle close somewhere around here, then this would be the next target. Now, I don't believe that this will end here. I think this will actually just rip straight up. So you may have a bit of a retracement here, which is why you have a bit of a retracement showing my my projection right here. And after that, you are heading up to here. This is where you will have really strong retracements, maybe a consolidation right here. This is still in the micro. The macro part of it is that you, by coming up here and closing a weekly candle, you are confirming this 1.618 on the weekly. So this is actually the ideal top of this entire move. This would be the ideal top. So even if we do come up here and have some sort of consolidation or a bit of a retracement, this will eventually come up here. And after here, then we will have to reanalyze. That's basically the macro picture. That looks weird. But yeah, that's basically the macro picture of Eth Btc. Now, when this goes up, every other altcoin will go up. And you will see it. In this pump right here, most altcoins went up as well. So that's why we look at Eth Btc a lot, and that's why we look at Ethereum a lot, because it basically governs how altcoins are going to perform. Now, one thing that you must understand is that the Eth Btc price is actually the true price of Ethereum. So this 0.02291 right here, that's the real value of Ethereum. So by coming down like so, yeah, this means that Ethereum has been, forgotten for the past couple of years. That's the true value of Ethereum. And if BTC does well, so if BTC, let's just say, doubles in price, Ethereum, that's ETH USDT, will do well, not because people are going to buy the ETH coin, but because this value right here, the value that Ethereum has on BTC, assuming that this doesn't change, because if it goes up, then Ethereum will be worth even more. But assuming that it stays the same, ETH will be worth more in dollar terms, even if nobody buys ETH. And this is something that so many people do not actually know. But if you ever wondered why all their charts basically look the same, yeah, that's the reason. The reason is because they are all following Bitcoin. Well, most of them anyway. They are tied to Bitcoin through their liquidity. So since they have pairs with Bitcoin, their value is actually measured in Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin goes up in dollar value, in dollar terms, let's just say Bitcoin is worth more in dollar terms, then their value, since it's measured in Bitcoin, is worth more as a consequence of Bitcoin going up in dollars. That is why their charts mostly look the same. It's not because, and some people might wonder, when Bitcoin drops and every other thing is dropping, why is that? Is it like everyone is agreeing to sell at the same time? Like when Bitcoin drops, everybody is agreeing to suddenly sell their alts? No. Or when Bitcoin goes up, everybody agrees to suddenly buy into alts? No. It's because they are tied to Bitcoin's liquidity. So if Bitcoin does well, they do well. If Bitcoin doesn't do well, they may not do well. May because Bitcoin has its dominance. And that dominance is essentially what we are looking at here on Ethereum. So if Bitcoin is like consolidating and most people are trading their Bitcoins in their Bitcoin to altcoin pairs. For altcoins, even though the Bitcoin is consolidating in its dollar value, that will mean that altcoins go up. So you can have a situation where Bitcoin is just consolidating, but its dominance is going down. That means that in the alt to Bitcoin pair, traders are favoring alts. So they are selling Bitcoins directly for alts. It doesn't mean, though, that its value in USDT will drop. No, because they are not trading Bitcoins for USDT. They are trading it directly for alts. So that's how alts tend to do well, sometimes anyway, when Bitcoin is consolidating and its dominance is going to the downside. Another scenario is that Bitcoin is slowly going up in its USDT pair and traders are getting bored. So they go to trade Bitcoin to altcoins so that they can benefit or profit from altcoins doing better. That further drops Bitcoin dominance and increases the value of altcoins. So that's another scenario for altcoins doing well. If Bitcoin is going up rapidly, it will overperform the market. It will overperform altcoins. Traders in the Bitcoin to altcoin pairs will not see or have any incentive to trade their Bitcoins for altcoins because Bitcoin is doing so well and it's, in crypto terms, essentially risk-free. Yeah, so they will not see any incentive to be trading their Bitcoins for altcoins. But if it's slowly going up, they may get an incentive then. If it's just consolidating, they may also get an incentive. So you have these scenarios. And the worst scenario is that Bitcoin is dropping rapidly. That's when they get scared and they are like, all right, this is the most risk-free thing in crypto. I should trade all my altcoins for this thing. That further bleeds altcoins, and that is why you will have Bitcoin only go down sometimes by 5% and altcoins are going down by 10%. Or Bitcoin goes down by 5% today and tomorrow maybe another 10%. They get more scared and you see altcoins plummeting by 40%. Yeah, so this is how it all works, if you ever wondered. Some of you who follow the channel would know this already. You would have all of these ideas in your head. So this is basically my idea for Ethereum. The micro time frame here is showing us some sort of retracement back to the downside and then a potential retracement. I should note that, except you have some big push right here that comes up and closes above this particular region. So if it can close this weekly candle above this region, then you will most likely see Ethereum shooting up to this level right here. This zone right here, which is the last part of this projection, will also come in contact with the 200. This is the 100 actually on the weekly, if I'm mistaken. Yeah, that's the 100 with the 100 EMA. And that 100 EMA is really just what has defined its bear market. So this is where it gets to actually go into bull. All of this right here will still just be bear for Ethereum BTC. And the move to the upside will be very good for altcoins. And it's kind of like this type of move right here where we have this push and this is the first move to the upside. This type of first move to the upside, come down and retracement here, forming the double bottom with a higher low. So the idea here is that we should not come below this low right here. If we come below this low, then we will have to reevaluate. This Eth Btc is super difficult to analyze, even BTC dominance. Most people will say it's going to 75% or it's going to 80%. Some will say Eth Btc is going to go lower, but if you ask how they know that, they will have no analysis to show you. So as per what we can see right here, this is all we can come up with. And this is essentially, this type of move is essentially what we would be expecting right here. With the timing, I noticed that when I post these on Telegram, some people would post some sad emojis and stuff. Perhaps they're looking at the timing right here and they look at this and say 2026, 2027 or whatever. No, we are not using the time axis here. There is no time axis on the chart. So when I extend this projection like so, it's not because I'm saying it's going to go into 2026, even though it could. I'm not saying it's going to go there. It's simply because I can't tighten this stuff. Yeah, I can't make like this. And no, I have to extend it so that you see how my projection looks. So yeah, that's essentially it with Eth Btc, folks. I wanted to do 2 videos actually, but I will just put it here. So in our previous video, we talked a lot about USDT dominance, and the reason why we were talking about USDT dominance is because, well, that's really just what we can use. Yeah, BTC is not following USDT dominance. This is the money. When they say follow the money in crypto, some people would look at whales selling or not selling, like here. So this is the exchange balance, and for now they are not sending BTC into exchanges. We had some huge inflows right here. Most of the times it's because they want to sell. They put in a lot of BTC there. Like here we can see approximately 91,000 BTC being sent into exchanges. Now when whales send these BTCs into exchanges, it's super risky for them. Yeah, because you don't want to hold such large amount of BTCs in exchanges. You want to hold them in your own wallet. So when they send them into exchanges, we start to think that they maybe want to sell. Most of the times anyway, that's the case. Like here, they sent in, BTC crashed. Here, they sent in, BTC crashed. Most people only pay attention to this and pay attention to VC investors. But what we also pay attention to is USDT dominance. When this goes down, BTC goes up. When this goes up, BTC goes down. This literally represents money being sent into or out of volatile crypto assets. So by going up here, it means that people are selling their crypto. When you sell your crypto, the dominance of USDT in the market increases. That's what this means, and that's why it's important. This big drop right here is a big rally on crypto. The problem is that it's not only USDT dominance, yeah? We have other stable coins like USDC, DAI, and some other stable coins that people use to buy BTC. So it can't really be one-to-one. It can't mean that USDT dominance goes up 1% means that BTC dropped by 1%. No. USDT dominance can go up by 5%, and BTC only drops by let's say 3% or sometimes even more. Yeah, so it's not one-to-one, which makes it difficult to track. However, we can use it to have an idea of what's going on, if BTC is going to crash or if BTC is going to rally. You might be like, why don't we just look directly at BTC? Well, sometimes its chart is difficult to analyze, so we come here because this is somewhat different, but it still gives us that idea. Yeah, so here, let's quickly wrap this thing up. The other day we made our video, yeah? We made our video and we talked about the overall downtrend on USDT dominance. So we have this high right here. Let's just put this on so that you can see. So here, let's go to the weekly time frame. If you want this indicator, just go to TradingView and type in Lux Algo Swing Highs / Lows and Candle Patterns. You will get this indicator. Here we had the higher high, here higher low to this right here. Here we had the lower high, which was the first after this huge uptrend. Higher highs and higher lows represent an uptrend. Lower highs and lower lows represent a downtrend. So since this lower high right here, we have been in a downtrend. After the lower high, we had the lower low right here, lower high again, and another lower low right here. When you hover your mouse on the indicator, you can learn about the type of pattern that formed the lower low, like here. So overall, we still are in a downtrend on USDT dominance. Looking at the macro right here. When we zoom in, then we are going more micro. So when we come here to the daily time frame, we can then see what's going on. Now in the micro, we see a clear uptrend right here. However, that clear uptrend will most likely fade somewhere. So we had the higher high here, but we are yet to confirm a lower high or another higher high. Well, according to the chart, solely looking at the chart, we should actually come back up here. we might as well form the lower high right here, which will be at the 1.618. We spoke about this in our last video. We might as well form the lower high right here, which will mean that USDT dominance starts a new plummet. New plummet will mean a big rally for crypto, of course, which will be good for us, yeah? Well, as a trader, it's not good or bad, but as a holder, it's great. With this particular move to the upside, we can have our Fibonacci projection. So Fibonacci projection here shows that this thing should end the whole move to the upside at a 2.618 right here. Yeah, that's where the whole move is supposed to end. The from the bottom right here to the top was somewhere around 20%. Yes, 20%. And from current price to that zone where we think the entire move might end is somewhere around 20%. For now, we've had two moves to the upside, so two confirmed moves to the upside, which is if we invert it like so, you will see it as such. So we've had two confirmed moves to the downside on the inverted chart right here, and our strategy suggests that we should have three. Now it might as well be two, yeah, because in the three move you'd have the A, B, C, D, E, but in the two moves you only have the A, B, C. So here this would be the A, B, C. The three wave move would mean something like so. So we have one here, two, and 3, which is actually the best. Now, the C move right here, yeah, if this was the ABC, the C move came into the 1.618. It might as well be the bottom, yeah? And if it is the bottom, then we have to watch out for a higher low scenario right here. Higher low to this low. Remember, this is the inverted chart. So if we go back to the regular chart, then this would be the lower high right here, because this is the higher high. So if we bring that our indicator back, okay, because this right here is the higher high, yeah? So all of this in this particular move to the upside. Now if we zoom to the 4-hourly time frame, then we'd be able to see this. Let's zoom to the 4-hourly time frame. Yes, we'd be able to see the indicator here. So we have higher high right here, lower high, but higher low here, putting a new higher high right here. So we could form a lower high somewhere around here. So this is what we are watching. This is what we are watching. I'm not so sure that it will just break through this right here. I'm not so certain about that. It could, which will be great, but I'm not so certain. Yeah, if it does break, then I will have to reanalyze and update you. But breaking that will mean that you are breaking all of this. It will mean that you are breaking all of this ascending wedge like so. So you therefore now will have a new target that gives you something that looks like this. So it comes right back to the bottom right here. But I'm not so certain about that. Ideally, you at least put in a new higher high right here, or you have a lower high somewhere around here. Confirming all of this, that's all of this move to have given you a new lower high right here. This is on the 4-hourly. So if you go now to the daily, the reason why I say lower high is lower high to this higher high right here. So that would be the scenario of this, the scenario that we are expecting here. If we don't get that move to the upside, then we'd be breaking this entire channel, meaning that we come back to this lowest point right here and possibly head even lower from there. So that's the very optimistic scenario, to just say that we break this and come straight down. But it doesn't work like that now, does it? Yeah, we always have some complications along the way. So yeah. So this then is just the highest point that I can see for USDT dominance. In the optimistic scenario, we come up here from a lower high right here, lower high to this high right here, which then forms a whole new lower high to this high right here. All of that points you to the downside. Worst case scenario, it shoots straight up and comes up here, which is where I will not have any more analysis to suggest that it goes higher. If it goes higher from there, it's confirming something very different. But in all of this, this is just the highest point I can see at 5.80% for USDT dominance. And from there, I then will expect something that looks like so. Another scenario is that you form a lower high right here and to the downside. I can't just say we go straight down. We might, we could, but I cannot tell you that we just go straight down. There is no analysis around there, leading me to believe that it's just going to go straight down. That's literally the support for USDT dominance. If we can close a daily candle below this 4.81, then that will make me start to believe that maybe we, not go to form a lower high up here. But for now, we have not done that. For now, we are still rejecting the zone as support. So you can see that clearly. And this is also the EMA as well. So daily 100 EMA. And we are clearly holding it as support. So that's essentially our analysis on USDT dominance. The problem is that we don't know exactly what this all will mean for BTC. All we can know is that it will be good or it will be bad. So let's go to BTC and show you. But before that, just know that if USDT is going to the upside here, USDT dominance is going to the upside, that's bearish for BTC. Exactly where BTC will go to the downside, we cannot know. Because this move up here, which was 20% for USDT dominance, only meant a 12% drop for BTC. So we can't really know what this will mean for BTC exactly. All we can know is if it will be bullish or bearish. A move up here will be bearish for BTC, and if we just break down here and close below here, that will be bullish for BTC. So let's go quickly to BTC and we will end the video in a minute. It's even longer than I thought it will be. So this was our general projection right here from our previous video. Yeah, we suggested that BTC will move to the upside. Yeah, it will move to the upside, but we did not know exactly where it was going to move. We could not know. We were suggesting that it could go even as high as 104K, but we could not know the exact figures. I think I also made a TikTok video indicating with this. Yeah, I made a TikTok video indicating with this, and we point back to the downside. But exactly where to the downside, we do not know. If we used the exact same analysis that we use on USDT dominance, but apply it on BTC, that will be pointing us to 85K as Bitcoin's ultimate bottom. That's the ultimate bottom for all of this move to the downside. However, I'm not so sure that that can happen because it's not been following USDT dominance clearly, and it's not been respecting the same analysis that we are using for USDT dominance, which is our general strategy. So if that were correct, if it was to go down to 85K, then it should have bounced up from this 1.618 Fibonacci level right here. So this low right here should have been at the 1.618, that's 95.2. But it wasn't. It was at 98.3. So let's just say that USDT dominance goes up by 20%. So let's just assume that it does that, yeah? Just like it did before. When it did that before, BTC fell by about 12%. So if that is to happen again, then BTC will be coming to 93. So, but we don't know. We don't know if it's going to correlate with BTC this time. We don't even know if it's going to go up for the 12%, for the 20% move. That's talking about USDT dominance. We don't even know if it's going to do that. We have to watch and see. But ideally, it should actually do that based on the three-wave move strategy. That's 3 waves up and 3 waves down. Now we've only had 2 waves down. So here on the daily, you should be seeing it clearly. 1, 2. The 2 came into this 100 EMA right here. That's 100 EMA on the daily time frame. So even if you just look at this, you will see why there could be a scenario where USDT dominance goes for a lower high in that hour scenario. So let's just quickly go there. This lower high scenario right here. Have eyes on this, and we go back to BTC. So you look at BTC right here and you see a scenario where BTC could come down to this region right here and still holds this as support. That will correspond with a lower high scenario on USDT dominance, and then this thing rallies. Yeah. But ideally, really, honestly, this thing should be going for that 3rd wave. Ideally, that should be the scenario. But we could have a situation here where this thing actually just forms an ABC instead of an ABCDE. So if this is the ABC right here, then you are looking at this C. Yes, so let's just put this in yellow and put that in bold. So this would be the 1, 2, 3. On the way down, you form a higher low here. If we can confirm this, a move down to here, this is all assuming that we have the move, yeah? But if we can confirm a move down to here as the higher low, then this makes for a legendary trade. By the way, make sure to use my exchange link down below. It helps support the channel, so use that. The Bybit link, it's in the description. I will leave it in the description for you. So this would be the scenario. This would make for a legendary trade if we can confirm this to be the higher low to this lower low right here. From there, you are going like so, and coming up here will most likely take off this zone right here, this resistance right here. And you are going even as high as 114 from there. So higher than 114 actually, because you'll be taking the entire wedge. So that would actually give you 118. So it all depends on us finding some sort of higher low scenario right here. Now, if we can go above this, if we can just go straight up from here, then great. Yeah, but we could not really bet on that. Yeah, because this is resistance right here. Going long here is foolish, but you could be lucky. Yeah, you could get lucky and go long here. The problem is that your stop loss will need to be below this low right here, and you are not even sure if this will be the higher low. So yeah, it would be a foolish idea, but feel free if you want to risk it, but use my exchange link in the description. Okay, so that's pretty much it, folks. I hope we are all in the know of what's going on in the marketplace. I will make sure to bring you another video. I actually started writing about it yesterday, and it's about a crypto market report. So be expecting that. It will be coming up very soon. But until then, make sure to leave me your thoughts in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe. It helps grow the channel. And we will see ourselves in the next video. But until then, stay safe.